All right, good afternoon. I am here with, let's see if we're live. Oh, there we go. Hey, all right, we're here. We're live. Yay. All right, so I'm here with my summer hair because I took advantage of Eric being at camp and went swimming this morning. So bear with me. I've got suntan and pool hair going on right now. All right, let me just open up the dashboard, make sure that I can see your comments. All right, awesome. So if you're watching live, make sure you say hello. If you're watching the replay, give me a shout out on the replay, because I love hearing from you guys when you're watching. So after the last live that I did, I got a lot of questions in my inbox about like, what you mentioned SOPs. What's an SOP? What are they used for? Like, how can they help my business? So like, there was a lot of questions about SOPs. So an SOP is a standard operating procedure. And essentially, I mean, a lot of you guys already use these as checklists, right? They're checklists, they're workflows, they have lots of different names, but typically within the online world and in the corporate world, we call them SOPs, standard operating procedures. And so what they are is they are how you do things in your business. And the reason that they're awesome is because it takes a lot of the hemming and hawing and emotion and feelings and out of everything that you do. So for example, when a client when a client credit card is declined, okay, so let's say you've got a client that's on regular monthly billing and the credit card payment gets declined, like we immediately go to, oh my God, the client doesn't want to work with me anymore. What did I do wrong? I'm so terrible at what I do, right? Right? Are you, yeah, this is what we do, right? And so instead of us like, oh, what am I going to do? And how am I going to respond? And basically you have a checklist that you go through. So what is the standard operating procedure, the SOP, for a failed client payment? And you go through the steps. Now, listen, you can get completely bogged down in creating SOPs if you let yourself do it, okay? So I typically do them as I'm going, okay? So like the first time we do something, I document how we do it. Sometimes we'll actually do a video of it. And then we'll basically, have it written up as a checklist, okay? You can put those checklists in Trello, you can put them in Asana, you can put them in ClickUp, whatever you're using. You can just have it in a Word document and just have a whole folder in your Google Drive or your OneDrive that is all your SOPs for your business. Okay, so it doesn't have to be like this crazy thing. I know a lot of times, I think we try to overcomplicate things. So don't try to make SOPs for every single circumstance you think might happen with your business. Don't, like I would start, so here's the thing. You can start with like general workflows, right? So you can start with, when I get a new, when somebody reaches out to me to work with me, this is what happens next. And just kind of write it out in general, like don't write it out in big detail. So be like, okay, so when somebody reaches out to me, I follow up with my booking link and my new client questionnaire, right? So that, and it could just be that, okay? It doesn't have to be like how you follow up. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be complicated. Just, this is what I'm doing. I follow up with my booking link and my new client questionnaire, okay? Then what happens? Okay, well then you have the call with the client. If the call goes well, then what happens? So don't get super detailed, but just start to kind of think out, like, what does my process look like? And then you can expand it out from there, okay? But it doesn't, it doesn't have to start off as the super detailed thing. So when we started doing them in my firm, it was literally like, we started with, okay, for an existing client, what does it look like when somebody wants to or what does it look like when we start tax season? Okay, and it literally started that, that basic, okay? Like I said, it doesn't have to be something that is super complicated. It doesn't have to be something that is, you know, overly detailed. Just start somewhere. But the purpose of doing this, there's a couple different reasons why you want to do this. So first of all, like I said, it takes the emotion out of what you're doing. Okay, so if something goes bad, if something goes wrong, even if something goes right, you know, like somebody reaches out to you and they want to work with you and you go, oh my God, okay, now what do I do? Okay, like, okay, pull out your SOP, right? What do you do? What's the next thing? Okay. I think a lot of times it's like, you know, we think that if we're one person, we don't need these, but I think if you're one person, you almost need them more because it helps guide you into doing the right thing. Okay. So then the other reason why they're really good to have is that as you start to grow your business and you have interns and you have people who work for you, you can hand things off much easier. So be like, okay, so if somebody's managing your inbox for you, which I really recommend that you get, you know, when you get to that point, have somebody manage your inbox for you. You hand that over to them, say, okay, if somebody contacts us and says that, you know, they want, you know, they're interested in our services, here's the SOP for that. This is how you respond. Okay. So again, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't have to be complicated to begin with. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to update them. We update ours all the time. Okay. Because new issues arise or we change the way we do things or whatever it is. So they're always going to change. Okay. But as they, you know, as they change, and listen, for my bookkeepers that are watching, have these for your client work. Okay. Not, and have like general ones, but then also for some of your clients. So one of the things I recommend is if you have clients with PayPal, figure out, do you want to do PayPal first or do you want to do PayPal last? Okay. In your workflow. And then set that up as an SOP for the client so that you don't have to think about it. You can just sit there and say, okay, this client has, you know, 5 bank accounts. And this is the order I do the bank accounts in. Every single month, I do them exactly the same order. Then you don't have to think about it. And then you've got some notes on your client in that SOP. So you might, you know, in that SOP, you might have, hey, beware of transfers between, you know, between this account and this account. You know, make sure that they're accounted for properly. So, you know, part of it is just kind of like refresher notes too, that as you're going through working on something, you have that information there. Okay, so I hope that this was really helpful for you. Please let me know if you have any more questions. But I do really believe that SOPs are a critical part of running your business. And really, you know, I know a lot of people when they start thinking about starting a freelance business, whether it's bookkeeping or any other freelance business, they're so worried about how do I remember all the things with the clients? You know, how do I get all this work done when I'm so crazy busy with my kids? And the way that you do that is to document things, right? Have SOPs, have these things in place. So that way you don't have to worry about how am I going to remember what's going on with this client? How am I going to remember what's going on with that client? Write it down, have documentation, have these checklists for yourself every single month. And then it's going to be so much easier to do the work. All right. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Take care and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.